Okay, so here we are with our new videos of DIY tips and how to change the siphon in a toilet. So first thing you want to do is go down here to your valve and turn it off, which means that it's there in the horizontal position. So I've already done that. And the next step is getting all the water out of your toilet. So you can see in it here, this is the siphon, this is the part that's not working. So first thing I'm going to do is try to flush it to get rid of most of the water. Okay, so as you can see, that's got rid of the majority of the water. And the water is not filling up again because I've turned off the mains. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to get rid of the rest of the water into that bucket. Okay. Also meant to say that in order to get some room to work around this, I'm going to take this part off, and that's the ball top, and most of the time it's just on screws. You see it coming out there. So I'm going to get rid of that to give me space to get my sponge in and to go through some of the parts of the inside of the siphon. And I'm wearing gloves because even I have levels of disgusting that I don't want to cross. And fixing the toilet is one of them. There. So that there saves you taking off this valve here. This is usually held in with a split pin, but for me it's all one part, so I have to actually take this nut off, and I don't want to do that. So just take this off to give me a bit more room. Okay, so now all of the water is out. You can see that. And now what I need to do is to disconnect the bottom of this cistern from any of the pipes it's connected to. So there's two places that it can be connected. You got here, which is your flow, which will put water into it, where we turned off the valve before. And then there's possibly another one here, which is the overflow, which is what stops the toilet overflowing. So you can see here, mine's just capped off, and that's because my siphon has an inbuilt overflow, but you might have another pipe going in here, which you would need to disconnect. So okay, so I'm just going to disconnect it up here using my adjustable spanner. And that adjustable spanner's not big enough, so I'll have to get a bigger one. And I've just remembered my bigger one is in my car, so I'm going to go and get that. Alright, this is the job now. So don't be surprised if some water comes out of this, that's okay. I'm going to need 2 hands for this. Okay, so what happened there was I was trying to take it off up here where I normally would, but whenever I was doing that, it was moving this entire thing here, and you can see from the bottom there, there's a lot of sealant and stuff in there to try to stop that leaking, so I didn't really want to disrupt that and give myself a hassle later. So what I did was I actually took out this flexible hose in here at the valve, and I've disconnected it at the valve. You can also see in here how the valve works. So the valve's closed, so that's why you can see that wee ball on the inside of it. Okay. So there's it off there. So next point they do is to disconnect it from the wall. So you can have 1 or 2 or possibly 3 different screws holding this in. I actually only have 1 because over the side, where we're going here, my inlet valve's in the way. So luckily they only put in with 1, so now I'm just going to remove that screw. Okay, so I want to show you something that's always good to have in your toolbox. So this is my normal screwdriver that I work with, and I've got a lot of different heads that I can put on it. But you can see if I was trying to remove that with this, you can't do it. You can't get at an angle, and you risk the chance of doing the head in it where you strip the threads. So it's always good to have some of these, which are stub screwdrivers. Okay, so they make it a lot easier to get into these small spaces. And we just take this here screw out. One of the problems you have with working with any plumbing is that a lot of times the heads and the screws and everything that are in it will become completely corroded. So what I'm probably going to do whenever I put this back together is I'm going to actually replace this screw. I'm going to show you whenever I get it out. Anywhere where there's water or moisture, the screws just rust like fuck, so they do. Bastard. So this is why I'm not on YouTube. It's all the cursing. And the fact that I can't pause a video on my fucking iPhone. Come on, you wee bitch. There we go. So, there is our screw. So, I want to show you the difference between the part of the screw that was in the wall, which is all still pretty good, and the part that's in the toilet, which is all corroded to shit. So, I will replace out that screw. I should have one around the same size in my toolbox. Right, so the next place that we want to disconnect is down here. So far we've been disconnecting everything from the cistern, but this is down here on either side is how the cistern is actually connected to the bowl of the toilet. So these are always connected with wing nuts, and really they should only be hand tight. They can get tighter over time. And that's again just because of like the environment that it's in. But hopefully these are just hand tightened. So let's see if I can get them loosened. There we are. So there'll be one on either side. Sometimes people think they need to use something like a bolt, but you really don't, because the last thing you want to do with the toilet is have anything that's over tightened, and what happens then is you crack the porcelain. And you don't want that. So I'll take this one off this side, and then I'll take the one off the other side, and then what you won't see, because I need 2 hands for it, will be me lifting the cistern off. Oh, my fucking head. Cistern. So I'm gonna take this one off now, but I'll do it off camera. Okay, so this is the cistern off, so you can see there where we lifted it off. So that was where our 2 bolts that I had the wing nuts on. And then what goes in here into the back of your bowl is this, which is the bottom of the siphon here. So now the next step for me is to take this apart. So first thing you want to do, you can also see the pipe here where the valve was. You know, where I had the stop valve was under this. Now one of the things whenever you take the cistern off is to get rid of any water that's on the inside. I cleaned it out really well with a sponge, but you still needed to pour a whole lot of water down there. One of the things that kind of people freaks them out, I think, a bit about plumbing is literally the water to where they're going to flood the place, but you know, that's what sponges are for. Just clean it up. So I'm going to try to take this here apart. I'm going to try to do it with one hand so I can show you. So this is your bung. This is what sits in here, and that is what gives you a watertight seal between your cistern and your toilet. You can buy replacement kits which come with this and your 2 nuts and your wing nuts. I was going to buy them yesterday when I was buying the siphon, but I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll see how good these are, because some of the times when you take these off you can find that this is degraded or very hard from being exposed to the water so long, and then this is rusted to shit. But these ones actually both look okay. So I'm going to try to take this here apart. So that's too tight for me to do with my hands, so I'm going to go and see what kind of tool I need. Maybe a vice grips, maybe a wrench. So I'll be back out. So what I'm using now is a pipe wrench. Pipe wrench there. Not a big pipe wrench, but I find it quite handy. So I'm going to use that to just loosen off this here nut very slowly. So you can see the nut itself, it's all covered in crap. And that's just from being in the toilet. So one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to loosen this too fast, because you're going to cross thread it. And because of this plastic, as you can see, it's it can get really very badly damaged, and then you end up having to cut the thing off, and you really don't want to have to do that. Let's see if that's enough for me to just get it off of my hand. There it is. Let's get this. Come on. You can see, I don't know if you can hear that there, hear the sound. See this here? That's a bit of silicone that whoever's put this one on before me has used to seal it up a wee bit better. It's not usually necessary. What I'll probably just do is put a bit of PTFE tape around it, plumbing tip, and what you call it yourself. So that's that off. Don't need that anymore. Now we need to take off the metal backing plate. Now, you hear that? That's a silicone. He sealed this here with silicone. Not necessary in my experience, but there you are. Again, he's got the whole siphon done with silicone, so what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to cut all that away. Now this is not something that you would usually have to do because most people would know that it's not really necessary. Right, I'm going to need both hands to do this here, so I'm going to... Okay, so I've cut away all of the sealant. So I've cut it all away. Now obviously you can still see some around here, but I've cut it all away from the inside. And you might think, why bother? Why bother cutting that away? It's sealant, it should be helping. But the thing is that they've put that sealant on whenever it was wet, and it's moulded around the threads of the siphon. I've disrupted that by taking it out, and what I don't want is to leave anything in that's going to leave anything uneven in there. Okay, for whenever I'm putting my siphon in. So the next step now is to actually get the siphon out. So I've pushed it up there from the bottom, and then it should lift out. And then the last thing you do is unhook it from this siphon out. There we are. So I'm going to actually show you now what the issue was and why it was broken. So let me just take you into my boudoir. And this is my new siphon. Okay, so this is my new siphon. What you can see here is the diaphragm. So whenever you pull up on the chain of the toilet, that diaphragm goes up and down, up and down, and that's what causes your vacuum. Okay, so now let me show you the one that I've just taken off. Okay, busted. And that's, you know, nearly 100% of the time, that's what the problem is in your siphon. This here is busted on the inside of it, and that's just through wear and tear. Look how thin it is, and it has to be, you know, thin like that to be able to move. And over time of 120 million shites, it just busts. You just can't take it anymore. So that is why you need to get a new one. Now luckily they usually last a good few years. So now what we're going to do is put the new one. Use the new one. Obviously it's still very loose. There is a rubber washer on the inside of it, which you can't see because it's black on black, but trust me, there's one in there. And now what we need to do is put our backing plate on. So this here metal part has to go back on here. Alright, because that's what's going to attach it to the cistern. And then we're going to put on our new nut. So you remember the old one? It's all covered in crap, mostly from being against that there metal all the time. So we're going to replace it with a new one. So I'm only hand tighten it for now, and then I'm going to use the pipe wrench to finish it off. One thing I will say is be careful when you're tightening this. The nut is not metal, the nut is plastic. The nut will tighten until it busts if you put enough welly behind it. So I'm going to get that there quickly. Hand tightening. One thing you want to make sure is that there's perfectly straight. Alright, because that's where you want to connect it. And you don't want to get everything tightened up and then you find, oh no, I've got that on wonky and I have to fix it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this pipe wrench here. I'm going to give this here we tighten up. You want to go beyond hand tightening, probably about 3/4 of a turn beyond hand tightening, but no more than that, because if you do more than that you're going to bust the threads in the nut. So there's it tightened up now. So I'm just going to, everything here is very, very tight. And if I shake the siphon on the inside I can't even move it. So one of the things, like I was saying, you don't want to do is over tighten this here. These pipe wrenches have really long hands and handles, and you will go until you bust it. You know, Archimedes said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum in which to place it and I shall move the world. So what you don't want to do is move the world to the point where you bust your nut, for want of a better term. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this cistern up back on here. Oh, I should say before I lift it on, what you want to do is put these two screws back in. Now this can be a bit awkward. These here screws are good. They've got a square, as you can see, on it, which means that you can have them in here into the wee square runner, and that means that you can tighten them and they don't move about on the inside there. So what I'm going to do is the awkward task of lifting this all back up onto there by myself. So that's what we're going to do now, off camera. Important thing I forgot to say is before you put it back on, you obviously have to put your rubber bung back over here. So this is what's going to make the watertight seal between the cistern and the bowl here. So that needs to go back on. You know, so I pushed it on quite good there. So now I'm going to try line this here up and put it back on too. Alright, so next step now, we're going to put our wee wing nuts back on. So there's 2 washers on each of these here. So you got a metal one and you've got a rubber one, okay? Now your rubber washer is what goes up here. Let me just get out of the way to get down here. Oh, I'm too old for this shit. Right. So your rubber washer is what goes up here. Okay. So that's what goes against the toilet. And then your metal one's what goes against the wing nut. Awkward to do with one hand, so I hope you appreciate this. Especially with your left hand, which is what I'm using because I'm an idiot. So we're going to tighten that up again. And because of the square on the heads of the nuts that are up there, it lets you tighten it against the wee holder, which is quite good. So again, you hand tighten these. There is no need to use any kind of tool. So, by the way, lifting the cistern on was annoying only because it's heavy and I'm really weak. So, wasn't too bad. I got on quite well. Right, let's see. So I've got that one all tightened up now. Okay, so you don't want to tighten it too much because like we were talking about before with the plastic bolt, what'll happen is you'll tighten this here so far against that you just bust this rubber washer. So you just hand tighten it, it's not doing anything except holding it in place. So what I'm going to do now is go to the other side. So now it's time to connect everything back up again, starting with this here, the inlet. So what I've done is I've just put some PTFE, or plumber's tip you might call it, around the threads here. I'm going to tighten that back up, so I'm going to see if I can hand tighten it a wee bit first so you can see it. Make sure it's seated in there properly. You want it nice and straight. Again, don't want to cross thread it. Start it off with your fingers. Hopefully it'll catch on the threads. If not, I'm going to need both hands for this. I think it's catching there. Now this, unlike the plastic bolts, you want to be tight as fuck. Make sure it doesn't leak. That's the last thing you want is a leak behind your toilet. Okay, so tighten it up. The adjustable spanner again. That is her pretty tight now. So now what's left to do is let the cistern fill up again. So we're going to turn the water back on. Where is my screwdriver? It is the wrong head of it. Flathead screwdriver here. And I hope the fuck this does not start leaking. So you want to turn that wee horizontal back to the vertical. So there's no leak in there, which is good. And I always have to wait a million years for the cistern to fill up. Oh, one thing I forgot, and you should be reminding me of this, is to put the bowl cap back on. Otherwise it's never going to stop filling. Let's see if I can just do one hand while it's filling. Yeah, I need 2 hands. So the bowl cap back on there again. And now the last thing to do is to attach this here back to the walls. Remember I was telling you this here will hook really shit, so I've got a new screw I'm going to put in. It's a wee bit longer than the last one, but hopefully it should be okay. So, if you've got your toilet lined up properly, that there hole should be exactly where you need it to be. If that there is not lining up, then that there shows you you've done something wrong in the install. You need to revisit that. So let's do this here. There you go. Again, rubber washer towards the toilet, metal washer at the end of the screw. That's two I can do one hand. Okay, so attach back on here now again with my new screw. You see how much better the head on that there one is. I'm putting it all. So just for another wee tip, if you ever find that you're having a problem flushing but you actually think, hang on, my water level's well low in here, this is what you need to adjust here. So this goes in and out. See if I tighten this here in now. Water stops. Now that isn't enough water to flush my toilet. So I'm going to loosen that off again. And the way that there works is because it changes the distance that this here needs to float before this here pushes against and stops that wee valve inside there that's stopping. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust this here. I need to make sure that this here still goes to the level that I need, and I can see it because that there kind of scummy mark. So I want to make sure the water still goes up to there, and I'll adjust that valve until that there's what happens, and then we'll test and flush it. Okay, so you can just see there, my water's kind of tailing off there a wee bit. Luckily, I've been checking down here, the inlet, and it's completely dry. So that's great. That means this isn't leaking here, which is good. So now is the moment of truth when I have to flush it. I'm also tidied up while that there was filling, so that's all my tools and everything. So let's see, moment of truth. And we'll see if I can pee in my ensuite again. Excellent. Let's check under here for any leaks. Oh, looks all good that side. And looks all good that side too. Excellent, so we're all good. So now all's left, and I'm going to put this here lid back on the cistern, and then I'm going to move on to my next job. I hope you find this helpful. I know it's a lot longer than videos that I normally do, so hopefully you find it helpful. If you didn't, I found it helpful. I've got a toilet that can flush again. So enjoy.